Hi everyone, Cendril here along with Finn.
Hello everybody, Nice Scarlet, aka Finn Feather Dragon here.
And spirits are in good humor today. This week's dish is stir fry. It's a great way to get some healthy greens on your plate. Saute the greens in a little sesame oil. Make sure to add plenty of fresh ginger and garlic. Breathe deeply. Oh, that's good. And I already know how to cook stir fry. So.
I like stir fry, but I don't know about strict veggie stir fry.
Thanks for a great year, Cendril. I'm excited to tackle the next year together.
Aww. Okay, so hopefully this episode we might be able to finish the NES mini games. So next up on the list, Super Contra.
Man,
I remember that one.
Oh, Contra's hard. Like if you didn't get the gist of these NES games,
hard.
They're hard, or maybe they're not too hard if you've like played them a lot, but you played them a lot. They were hard.
They were hard.
At one point, they were hard. That's just how they were back in the day.
I don't have much to say on Super Contra. It's another side scroller. So
you probably know
fun,
Contra.
but...
Like people probably know Contra, or at least they know one of the most famous things to come from Contra, the Konami code. Up, down, down, left, right, VA, select, start. Depending on how many people you're playing, or just start. Anyway, I know Contra. That's, Contra's hard. It's hard with the cheat.
You know a game is hard with even a cheat that's supposed to make it easier, it's still hard.
It's so true. So, that's Contra.
Okay. Now for...
That's Super Contra, to be technical, but anyway.
3 classics probably everybody under the sun either has played, knows about, or heard about. Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3.
I don't feel like there's anything to say. Like, everybody knows those. Everybody knows those. Everybody's played them. It is one of the... I can say this. I was going to say this when I played, but very few people are watching this anyway. If you're still watching Stardew, I hope you're super enjoying it, because I know I am. This is... That's where they were. They're right there. I was looking for them. Super Mario Brothers is one of the very few games... I don't think I've ever talked about this on the channel. I might have. Is one of the very few games I got to play with my dad. Now, my dad is still alive, but my dad only has one arm. And the NES controller, with his one hand, it was big enough for him to stretch his hand out and hit all the buttons. As games became more complicated, he couldn't do that, where you really do need to have 2 hands on the controller. So we really didn't get to play a lot of games together, which is a shame because games are my passion, as all of you know. But he kind of started that with Super Mario Brothers, one of the first games, if not the first game that I ever played. Me and him would go back and forth on Super Mario Brothers. And he would get a little farther, and then I would get a little farther, and he would push me. So, like, I would get to World 2-1, because, you know, I'm tiny Cendril. And, he would get, well, I got to 2-3. So, I would work so hard. I would play the game over and over and over again until I beat him and got farther. And then he would get farther. And then I would get farther. And it just, they did it until I beat the game. And I was so proud that I did it. And so he really, just from that one game we played together. And there were a few other ones we got to play thanks to the Wii. It's why I'll never talk bad completely about the Wii. because the motion controller let us play again. So it meant a lot to me. But he put that in me to not give up on the game, to keep playing it as long as you're having fun, to play it and go farther. And that was a big thing for me. So.
Did you just try to put an egg in the cheese press?
I did.
Sorry, just trying to break the tension there.
Yeah, thanks. But all of you know, Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. I have played them. I have beaten them. I have trounced them. Beaten them 9 ways to Sunday.
By them.
I've been trounced by them multiple times. But the point is, you've played and you love these games. Maybe not 2, but you love 3.
Yeah.
3's
Super Mario Brothers is one of the first games I played, and I played them actually. Our daycare had an NES system, so that's where I learned to play.
That's not good.
The older kids would teach me how to play.
That's not good.
Yep, you're actually running out of fodder. Wow. There's no hay left? No,
Nope.
There is no hay left. It made through the whole winter. Wow.
It did make it through the whole winter.
Okay, so moving on from 1, 2, and 3. Next up is Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl! Just use bow, it's fine. I got this.
So for those of you who don't know, football.
It's
American football.
Yeah, it's NFL. But like way back then. That's bad.
Oh, Shane. Someone go get Harvey.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed.
So can you use something? He's out cold. I got this. Cure! Oh. Can't do that in this
Wrong
universe.
game.
Wrong game. Oh man, that sprite. Man, they drew that. He
Wow.
looks terrible.
He looks horrible.
Oh man. I want to know who did that. Who drew that. Really good job. Yes! Wake up.
Wow.
like a bucket of water. And just That's great. Shane, what's the matter with you? All you do anymore is mope around your room and drink beer. You wouldn't understand. I'm worried.
Jazz, no.
What's your plan? Don't you ever think about the future? Plan? Hopefully I won't be around long enough to need a plan. Uh-oh.
No, Jazz.
Jazz. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
Man, that's super serious. Like, you told me that was the one, like, super serious one
Yeah.
in this game.
For
Is
those of you who
Shane's.
don't know Shane and Jazz's relationship, Shane is actually Jazz's godfather, and Marlene is their aunt. Shane and Jazz's aunt. So something happened to Jazz's parents, obviously, and Shane now has to take care of Jazz. So it's dark, man.
Yeah, that one's serious.
That's
was a lot of money.
bad place to be too.
that
Yeah,
was a lot of money. Yeah, that
That's a
one's
lot.
bad. That's a bad place to be. I've talked about bad times on the channel before. So I'm gonna let that one be,
Yeah.
and we're gonna keep having fun. Just know that's a serious thing, and I take that very seriously.
I just want to throw out here a quick note. If you find someone passed out like that, Do not throw water on them. Shake them up and call 911.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. Back to fun. Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl. I love Tecmo Bowl. I used to play. This is something that a lot of you may not know about me. Also, real quick, just the serious side one more time. If you think, because I don't know if you've watched the entire series, I've talked about bad times. So know that I take it very seriously. I just don't think that's what we need to be talking about right now. But no, that is something I take very seriously. What happened there, and it means a lot to me. It's just not something I want to talk about right now. I've talked about it before in this very series, actually. So if you've watched all of Stardew, you know I've talked about bad times and feeling like that. There we go, 450 pieces of A. So just know that I'm not brushing it off or anything. Not something I want to talk about right now. But I've talked about it before on the channel, on the series, and in a few other LPs. So just, fair warning to all of you that that is something I do take seriously. Anyway, Tecmo Bowl. I used to play. This is something that a lot of people may not know about me. I'm actually a really big sports fan. Not as much as I used to be, but I am. People know me as a gamer, and that is definitely the foremost love that I have is gaming, other than you, of course. But sports, I used to be a huge sports fan. I mean, really big sports fan. So, and I used to play a lot of sports games. So I used to play Tecmo Bowl, Madden, like Madden 64, games like that, like older ones. I used to play the older ones. The newer ones are like too complicated for me to play anymore. Like, I just want to sit back and have fun when I play a sports game. And they don't let me do that anymore. Like, you just can't do that anymore. They're very competitive. Very competitive. Very technical. Like in button presses and things like that to, like, juke and box out if you're playing NBA. And it's gotten very technical. People that know how to play Madden these days, my hat's off to you. Because I know it's definitely gotten more technical and a lot harder. And I just kind of got behind, and I just don't feel like that's not where my passion lies anymore, sports games. So I'm just not into that. But Tecmo Bowl is awesome.
Never played it. Was never a big fan of the sports games personally. Except for a hockey game, but I don't even remember what it's called anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, so the final two in the NES Classic Mini, the granddaddies to another legacy of Nintendo, The Legend of Zelda 1 and The Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link.
Yes!
Where it all started.
2 is not good. 2 is
so
bad, but I like it anyway for some terrible reason. I guess nostalgia.
2 has I never played 2, but I've heard it has certain ideas where you're just like, okay.
It's bad. Game is not good, but I like it anyway because nostalgia. It's weird.
But Legend of Zelda 1 I can talk about.
That's
the original,
amazing.
The original. It's dangerous to go along, take this, I am error, all the memes that come from it. And it's also, it was the idea of you didn't have to go in order. Like, there was a dungeon order, quote unquote, but you didn't have to go in order.
That's true.
I'm sure there's like streamlined ways, and there's stuff all over the internet again of how to do that. So, and Cendril reads through a book to try and figure out. And papers. Sorry, I got interrupted by cat people. Anyway, but Legend of Zelda, the first one, you got your bombs, your rupees, your arrows, your sword, the Master Sword. Like I said, it was the granddaddy of it. So, There's what we need.
I'm smart.
When in doubt, go to the library, people.
I'm so proud of
Library.
myself right now. I can't tell you. I am so
Library.
proud of myself to think of go to the library. And I'm like, I think I have a book on that. And it's like, I'll go to the library and I'll see. And then to find the book and to do that. I am very proud of myself right now, people.
Alright, for you youngins out there, the dark days before Google, we actually had to go to a library and look stuff up.
That's so true. Libraries are awesome.
They are.
Like, for real, libraries are really cool because the hardest part of a library is finding the book you need. But the fact that there's all that knowledge in a place where you can literally go and find out just about everything. Now, today you have Google and the internet, but before the internet, libraries were great because you really could find out things that you were curious about.
Do you have a void egg?
None of
Or
them.
void mayo?
I do have void mayo.
Okay.
I have a few void mayo. I
There
have
it
2
is.
void mayo. Not as much void mayo as I thought. I will fix that.
Alright. Do you want to give it to the goblin now, or should we save that for tomorrow?
I'll save that for tomorrow. I will save that.
So,
for
but
tomorrow.
there you go. Over the course of those episodes, that's all the games that are going to be in the NES Mini Classic.
It's a steal.
It is
For-
an absolute steal.
For 70
Ask for it
bucks
for
if you get
Christmas.
2 controllers. Like, get 2 controllers. I highly recommend that. Get 2 controllers so you can play with somebody. Several of those games are 2-player. Get the, shell out the extra $10. Pay $70 and you're getting how many games total?
Like 30 games, more than that.
You're getting 30 games total. Somewhere around there. Some really good classics in there that you can get a lot of entertainment out of. Just play through again, or especially if you're an older viewer and you have a young one, or excuse me, you want to play it for. There's so many reasons to get this. You can play it for yourself. If you're looking for a Christmas present for a gamer and they're not picking this up, this is a great thing to pick up for them. If you have maybe nieces, nephews, or if you're a father or mother yourself, for a kid you want to show them how it was, how you played games, the games you played back then. Pick this up. If they've never played games before, they're just getting to the age where you want to introduce them to gaming, and you can say, "This is what I started out with." And you can start them there and then introduce them to PC gaming and things like that. This NES Mini would be a great place to start. Or if you have an older friend who maybe doesn't get to play games that much like they used to, or just got out of gaming or whatever, but still enjoys games, pick this up for them as maybe a Christmas present or a birthday present or something. To remind them, like, hey, remember when we used to play this together, like old friends or stuff like that. This is a great present either for yourself or for others. I think this is easily one of the best things Nintendo has done in a while. Is this? It's a phenomenal idea to bring it back, give people a new generation a taste of how it was at the beginning, near the beginning. So,
like Cendril said, it's a still the base set with 1 controller, $60, 30 games, all of them classics. The only downside that I've heard so far of people who have reviewed the console, quote unquote console, is that the cord for the controller is a little bit short.
Okay.
But it's like that's the one downside. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's definitely worth picking up. So, That's all we have for the mini NES. Back to your questions tomorrow, depending on what happens, because it's the start of year 3, which will be very exciting. So, until the next episode, for Finn,
I've been Nice Scarf. I'll see you later.
I'm Cendril 9. Remember to shoot for the stars and take care, everyone.